Halloween is my favourite holiday, and to get myself in a festive mood where I really feel ready for trick-or-treating, spooking, and getting wasted while wearing a costume, I like to sit down and watch a movie that's set at Halloween. So to get you pepped for the spookiest time of year and feel viewing pleasure, here's my list of 5 movies set at Halloween. On October 31st, 1992, the BBC aired a live séance with noted talk show host Michael Parkinson presenting, with help from other TV personalities on location. Their attempt to contact a poltergeist haunting a family home doesn't go according to plan. Presented as a live TV programme, what isn't immediately apparent about Ghostwatch is that it is in fact a work of fiction, albeit a really well-made one. This film is one of the first mockumentary horrors, kind of related to what we now call found footage movies, and it's so well executed that many at the time thought it was real. The BBC went out of their way to tell people it was a drama. It was advertised as part of a drama season. Michael Parkinson very heavily promoted it on interviews, talking about it as a drama. It was even on the front cover of the Radio Times. But the time at which Ghostwatch was broadcast was around the time when people started getting kicked out of pubs as they closed. So when the more paranormal stuff starts coming out in the film and everything gets a little bit more violent and scary, that also happened to coincide with the time a lot of drunk and maybe slightly more gullible than usual people were getting back from Halloween pub visits. The resulting uproar was so huge that the BBC effectively banned the film from ever being played on UK TV again. But a DVD release by the BFI allows you to relive this terrifying show at home. Underneath the gimmicky live TV approach, this is a grim, gritty ghost story with some fantastic performances, and it's definitely worth a watch. A bunch of teenagers touring Roadside Attractions come a cropper of a twisted family of rednecks in Rob Zombie's debut film. This movie isn't exactly good. In fact, it's often downright bad. It's a love letter to grindhouse movies, to the Southern Fried variant of folk horror, and to cheesy horror films everywhere. The problem is it's a little too mean-spirited for that, and it suffers from some serious over-direction, to the point of some scenes occasionally being laughable for the wrong reasons. There was a lot of tension between the studio and Rob Zombie during production as well, so there's a wild variance between the types of quality of footage that are in there. Some of them are basically just shot in Rob Zombie's basement, some of it's shot on a proper soundstage backlot at Universal, which certainly doesn't help the film feel any more even. But with a strong visual style, with some funny performances, especially from genre master Sid Haig, and an endlessly quotable script, it makes for an excellent movie to play a drinking game to. This is one to watch with your mates and a bottle of something cold, wet, and reality distorting. A teenage boy wakes up watching over his town with an apocalyptic message scrawled on his arm. For Donnie, this is one in a series of breaks with reality that he's been experiencing. And with Frank, a demonic sort of bunny, as his guide, he begins a journey to understand what is happening in his world. Richard Kelly's debut feature is a sprawling, diffuse, often messy story, touching on adolescent love, apocalyptic fiction, and social satire with some significant horror elements. Kelly's spark burnt out pretty quickly after this film, despite showing some further promise. I, for one, think that The Box shows him to be a really talented, skilled horror filmmaker. But this film stands up as a true cult classic, and as a teenage touchstone, and a stunning glimpse into the sort of filmmaker that he could have turned out to be, a potential great. And don't forget, the apocalypse, Frank, and everything else comes to a head on Halloween night. So if you like your horror minimal, but you still want to get festive, this one's for you. Trick or Treat is an anthology horror that follows a diverse set of protagonists. A bunch of trick-or-treating kids, a serial killer and his son, a monstrous little boy amongst others, as bizarre and horrific events happen to them over one Halloween night. The real joy of this film is that each story interlinks at least somewhat with another in the movie. So one character will show up in another character's plotline, or they'll provide the setup for another story to take place. It's a device that just makes the film feel very satisfying in a way that anthology films often aren't. It's also a very festive film, gleefully relishing the spookiness of the holiday while acknowledging lots of different aspects of it, from getting drunk as an adult to trick-or-treating as a kid. Often as funny as it is scary, this movie's perfect for getting into the mood for Halloween, alone or with company. Just want to say, I don't have anything against the first Halloween film. I think it's a work of genius with a fantastic legacy. But for me, this movie just does so much more with the Halloween premise. After seeing a man murdered in his hospital bed, Dan chases after the killer only to see him burn himself to death. This bizarre series of events leads him to investigate a sinister company selling masks to kids, leading up to a prize draw after the Halloween movie. With just days left until Halloween and his own kids to worry about, Season of the Witch becomes a pulse-pounding thriller with an incredibly bleak outlook and a strong but very dark interpretation of the whole idea of Halloween as a celebration. If you're looking for a thought-provoking, bizarre and artful film to watch this Halloween, this is the one for you. So that's it from me. There's a representative rough list of movies you can watch this Halloween. I'm assuming there's stuff people really want in there that I didn't have time to put in. I know there's a couple Paranorman that I really wanted to put in there. So please let me know in the comments down below if you've got a movie you're going to watch this Halloween and you think I should have put it on the list. Don't forget to click subscribe to get the next video when it comes out, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one and happy Halloween.